The Buffalo Bills definitely made the most of their 8 selections in this year's draft by strengthening the depth within a few areas of their team on both sides of the ball. Vosean Joseph and Jaquan Johnson are defensive move pieces that can immediately help them situationally on defense, but also on special teams. They also landed one of the best blocking tight ends in the class in Tommy Sweeney from Boston College. In the second round, the selection of Cody Ford out of Oklahoma helps them instantly up front, as he's expected to be the starting right guard on this offensive line. What I like most about the Bills draft was the talent that they added at the point of attack on defense. The fact that Ed Oliver was still there for the taking at pick number 9 was, in my opinion, the biggest steal of the first round. Oliver can give them what they lost in Kyle Williams versus the run, but also much more as a pass rusher as well. And speaking of the pass rush, adding the talent of Darrell Johnson out of North Carolina A&T in the 7th round was another sleeper selection. Johnson has a ton of upside left in his game and will greatly benefit from the development that he'll get as a pro, as opposed to what he would have gotten had he gone back to A&T for his senior season. I also like what Buffalo did on offense with the additions of tight end Dawson Knox out of Ole Miss and Devin Singletary, the running back, out of Florida Atlantic. Now, Knox gives them a player who is criminally underutilized at Ole Miss. That's a strong flex option at tight end, and Singletary is a good mix of what they have in both LaShawn McCoy and Frank Gore in the backfield. 66 rushing touchdowns at Florida Atlantic for Singletary. I want players on my offense that specialize in scoring the ball, and that's what Singletary does exceptionally well. Tyree Jackson decided to return to Buffalo to compete for the number 2 job behind Josh Allen. What's good about this is that the Bills now have 2 similar players on their roster at the position that can develop at the same rate. And if we're being honest, Jackson had a much better career at Buffalo than Allen did at Wyoming. So it's shocking that he went undrafted, but good for the Bills as they have an opportunity to strengthen the quarterback room with the former Bulls star. Jackson's teammate Cam Lewis was a terrific corner who decided to stay home as well. I thought Lewis had a great week of work down at the Tropical Bowl back in January and spent a lot of time with Bill Scouts when he was down there, so I'm not surprised to see him end up in Buffalo. And David Sills of West Virginia is another surprise undrafted free agent. Sills has good underrated acceleration to slip past defenders, especially inside the red zone. He's a longer inside receiver that reminds me a lot of former Carolina Panthers star Patrick Jeffers and what he brings to the table. I gave the Bills a B+ for their draft. They got one of the best defensive players in the class in Ed Oliver and added good complementary pieces on both sides of the ball, making an already strong defense even stronger and an offense a bit more versatile as well. I would have addressed receiver at some point during the draft, considering the talented options that were still on the board in the back end of this draft, but overall, a strong haul nonetheless for the Bills.